There are 4 mistakes that almost everyone makes when bleeding their radiators. You should absolutely avoid them because otherwise the bleeding process can end up being completely pointless. Which ones these are exactly and what you absolutely need to pay attention to, I'll show you in this video, especially after a longer heating break. So when you start turning on the heating again in autumn, you should bleed all your radiators once to get all the air out of the system. Only then will all the radiators work properly and you'll get good heat output. You can actually tell right away if the radiators haven't been bled. For example, if only the bottom part of a radiator gets warm while the top stays cold, since that's usually where the air is trapped, or if the radiator makes loud gurgling noises when you turn it on. But that brings us straight to the first mistake, because first, you need to set the thermostat on all your radiators to the highest setting. In my case, that's level 5, because we want to make sure that the radiators fill up with water. After that, you should definitely go to your circulation pump or directly to the entire heating system. It's enough if you just turn off the circulation pump. But if you're not exactly sure how to do that, you can also just briefly switch off the entire heating system and then wait 30 minutes. Otherwise, the heating water would circulate continuously, which is not helpful if we want to get the air out of the system. Once you have completed these 2 extremely important steps and waited 30 minutes, you can move on to the first radiator. But even here, many people make a mistake and just pick any radiator at random. You should actually proceed in a very specific order. In a house, you should always start in the basement or on the ground floor, specifically with the radiator that is closest to the main heating system, and then gradually work your way up since air rises. In a regular apartment, you should also start with the radiator that is closest to the main heating system and then work your way farther away. Now go to the bleed valve on your radiator. There are special radiator bleed keys for this purpose. In most cases, however, you can also use a flathead screwdriver. Hold a bowl or a cup underneath this small hole, and when you very carefully open it, be careful, you should never open it too far, just a little bit. You will usually hear a strong, loud hissing sound at first because all of the air is coming out right now. As soon as water starts to flow out, you can close it again because that means you have successfully removed the air from the radiator. Be sure to make sure that the vent valve is tightly closed and wipe it again with a cloth to remove any dirt. Now there are still 2 extremely important steps left, which unfortunately most people also do incorrectly. Because what you absolutely need to do now, once you have successfully bled all the radiators, is of course to turn the main heating or the circulation pump back on, and then you must definitely check the pressure gauge to see if there is still enough water pressure in the system. Because now of course some water has escaped and the air also takes up space, so it's possible that you have too little pressure in the heating system and will need to refill water so that the heating system works effectively and properly again. Depending on the type of heating system, this process can work a bit differently. You can either check your user manual to see how it works for your system, or I've linked another video here where I show you how I refill the water in my own heating system. Since this can also help you, you should definitely watch it as your next step.